Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am coming at you with another podcast style video, and today I will be talking about female rappers, and why the men's opinions of them are hypocritical. Now bear with me here because I feel like there is a lot to unpack. Now, for the longest time, there has been a lot of criticism surrounding female rappers and what they represent, whether it be in their music or their personalities or personas in public and on a regular basis. I have been seeing more of this criticism now coming from the men, whether it be male rappers, past and present, male hip hop commentators and bloggers who give their think pieces that range between valid and idiotic, or male hip hop and rap music listeners who really aren't fans of female rap. Now, when it comes to women in hip hop and rap, there has always been criticism. Women in this genre, as well as music as a whole, have constantly had to prove themselves of being worthy to be taken seriously, especially if you do not possess a certain look. In the last 7 or so years, at least since 2019, I would say, there has been more of an influx in recognition or visibility of women in rap. On the surface, this can be seen as a good thing. However, we have seen the women in rap who have been given more recognition, opportunities, visibility, and mainstream push, or at least mainstream adjacent push by labels or the general public, are the ones that push out the same aesthetic, or rap about the same subject matter. These things being sex or sexuality, and being a bad B word, and talking about being a boss and making all this money, etc. Although in recent years this has garnered a fan base, mainly women, it has also gained a certain amount of criticism. Although I see the criticism coming from both men and women, I feel like the criticism I see coming from men is disproportionate, harsher, and hypocritical. Now, don't get me wrong, some of the criticism that is given towards some of these women in rap, such as the Saweeties, the Coyle Rays, the Sexy Reds, Sukihanas, Cardi B's of the world, is valid, if not true and necessary. However, I feel that some of the criticism is just to attack them for being women in a man's game and who look for things to nitpick at. There are women in rap that are making either eccentric, eclectic, or legacy potential music who are very talented, such as Rhapsody, Tierra Whack, Chica, Little Sims, Azalea Banks, etc., that are not getting that push or recognition. Now, I know that there can be other variables to this, such as being an independent artist, lack of consistency, lack of resources, or having a not so good reputation in the general public or that team to push you. I will say that it does seem like there is some hope because people like Doechii are coming up, and I see a bright future for her because she does possess immense talent, and she describes her music as alternative rap, and I definitely see it as that. In regards to the criticism, I have to be honest and say that there are some things I agree with when it comes to rap in general. How it's declined in popularity and on the Billboard due to the lack of quality, lyricism, and true love and care for the craft and the art of hip hop and rap. I can agree with both the women and some of the men who say that there is too much of an oversaturation of women in rap who only talk about the same thing and who perpetuate this over/hypersexualized image to the forefront of their careers, to the point where they neglect the music and the quality as well as their credibility as artists decline. I have been seeing videos on TikTok of teachers talking about how kindergartners and elementary school students, young kids, who are rapping some of the lyrics to Ski Yee and Pound Town by Sexy Red and WAP by Cardi B. I may not be a parent or teacher, but I wouldn't want young kids rapping explicit lyrics at that, and these kids probably don't even know what those lyrics mean or comprehend what they are. Now, to play devil's advocate a little bit, I remember singing Hot in Here by Nelly when that song came out on the radio, and I was 6 years old. I think it came out in '02. So I was about 6 years old singing, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. Like, I was singing that song. I am of the millennial Gen Z generation, and I am considered a zillennial, and we definitely had rap and other secular music with more mature subject matter, whether we knew what we were saying or not. Granted, the songs played on the radio were clean and the lyrics were more covert versus now with easy access to the internet where people can upload and find things including explicit, raunchy rap music. Here is where the double-edged sword exists. I am not fully against sexual or sensual music existing because these songs have existed even before hip hop and rap music even was created or brought to the mainstream. I listen to old school dance hall, R&B soul music, and there are records that touch on the same subject matter even if the lyrics are covert. I mean, hell, sometimes the lyrics were overt. If you know, there was a blues singer by the name of Lucille Bogan, and she has a song called, Till the Cows Come Home, and she's using explicit lyricism. This was in the 1920s and 30s. So explicit lyricism and overt sexual topics have always been in music to a certain degree. Maybe not mainstream, but they have always existed. The difference between then and now is that there was more of a balance back then. Even if there was Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, or Trina, and maybe Adina Howard squeezed in there, there was also Missy Elliott, Lauryn Hill, Left Eye Lopez, Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Salt and Pepper. There was more balance, and now it's such a copy and paste formula because labels, A&R, and even the general public until now have made the idea of a female rapper to be A, there can only be one female rapper, especially at the top, or B, any female rapper that comes to the rap game or the rap realm has to perpetuate one specific image. Some of these women in rap either start off or end up as influencers, IG models, social media personalities, or socialites who happen to make music instead of being actual artists, i.e. Sweetie. Then, when they drop a song or the sales for the projects come out, they are very low despite the hype that they received and the following they have. Now, here is where I have a problem with men criticizing women in rap, because some of their criticism has a level of hypocrisy. I've been seeing so much criticism or straight vitriol being spewed towards women in rap in recent years by men, especially of the older generation of rappers such as Uncle Luke and Fabulous. These men have mainly talked about, to my knowledge, very explicit content that was and is considered destructive to the youth and society, but have the nerve to criticize this generation. Uncle Luke was the same one, along with 2 Live Crew, who went to the courthouse to fight for the right to be lyrically explicit in music, and he is one of the reasons you have the parental advisory sticker on albums. Fought for the right to curse and use the B word and H word in records to what he was calling women, mainly black women. He, along with other rappers such as Nelly, Fabulous, etc., exploited women, black women in particular, as video vixens and sexual objects, and not to be respected. But now, fast forward to today, and they see Megan Thee Stallion twerking on stage and Janelle Monáe subliminally exposing her breast for attention at the Essence Fest. Now it's a problem. Now they're corrupting the youth and setting a bad example for young girls. But this is another aspect of hypocrisy I cannot stand from these men. The men have been doing it for decades, going back to the blaxploitation era in film and through music videos and lyrics in hip hop and rap. These men were able to make careers out of promoting poison such as violence, drug, and gang culture to the community, whether they were about that life or not. They were the ones also gaining from the sexual exploitation of women in their music videos, even today. But now that some of these past generation veteran legacy acts or washed up acts are no longer in their 20s and 30s, they're no longer in their prime career-wise, and maybe there is a chance that they have gained some wisdom and seen the error of their ways, so they say, or so they think, which I doubt, or they see more women are coming up, and their sexism, their deep sexism and misogyny won't allow these women to play their same game, if not beat them at it. I am not saying I agree with or like all the music that every single female rapper puts out there. Like I said myself, I have my criticisms towards rap music and female rappers and female rap. However, I do think that there is a little bit of jealousy coming from some of these men in rap who are not popping like they used to be, and who are also upset that the women can particularly cut them out as the middleman and get money, fame, and opportunities almost without them. They don't have to settle for just being the video vixen where they are seen and not heard. They can be the rapper too, especially since video vixens do not get paid like they used to. I heard in the 90s and the 2000s that the video vixens were getting paid as much as the rappers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, the video vixens are lucky if they get paid at all. I also have to blame the men in the industry for ushering this in as well. It's easy to blame white or non-black owned major record labels for the push and promotion of raunchy, ratchet, and negativity in the rap music and the hip hop genre, but there was a time where the major labels weren't checking for or pushing female rappers unless it was Nicki Minaj. And don't get me wrong, please don't come for me. This is not a jab at Nicki Minaj. I appreciate Nicki Minaj for her talent. It was the grassroots or indie imprint small labels that were signing these acts. And in the 2010s, these acts couldn't get signed unless they were talking about the same subject matter we are complaining about now. These women wouldn't get signed or pushed unless they succumbed to the industry pressure of looking like an IG model. So now everyone is getting their face, boobs, butt done and everything done and trying to attach a personality to them that is not fully authentic. There were people risking their lives and ending up unalive due to bad BBLs and butt shots. We talk about colorism in the industry and how a lot of talented artists who were dark-skinned were getting overlooked because they weren't light-skinned or racially ambiguous, even if they possessed more talent. We saw what happened on the show Signed by Rick Ross, where Rick Ross chose Just Brittany over Kaya, who clearly was the better voice in the competition. And even Rick Ross admits to showing Just Brittany more attention and giving her special treatment because he was attracted to her. Even Lil' Kim was a figment of Biggie's imagination, so he kind of mentored her to promote that whole, overtly sexual image. However, Kim made it a point. The difference between the Sexy Reds and the Lil' Kims of the world, is that Lil' Kim made it a point to tell young girls in the 90s that her music was not specifically made for them and was specifically made for the adults. So these men shouldn't be fully complaining because they ushered this behavior in. You didn't sign, push, A&R, support the women who were more versatile, eclectic, or simply not just talking about sex all the time. You did the opposite because, sex sells. And as long as you were getting fed and paid, it was all good. Now that it's become redundant and you guys are not getting paid or well received or recognized like that, like you were, and you older generation rappers are out of your prime musically, now it's a problem. And you are worried about your daughters listening to Cardi B music and acting like city girls. But when you were putting out that same message for other people's daughters that were young and underage at the time, you wanted to make think pieces and defend your so-called art and your so-called story. And it was even Black women that stood by you and defended you. I just find this to be hypocritical and jealousy-ridden. Of course, not all criticism from the men and women is in bad faith, but I feel a good majority is, despite the validity. I do hope, however, that we see a change in female rap or hip-hop in general, because with its decline in the mainstream, which may not be a bad thing, goes to show that this genre needs a complete revitalization. And I feel like the decline in the mainstream with rap and women in rap and just hip hop and rap in general, men, women, all of it, I think it's a sign that this could be a good thing, because maybe it's a sign that you need to go back to your roots and you need to go figure yourself out and you need to really promote talented individuals. Because what it looks like now, especially with hip hop, especially in the last 7 or so years with the fast food era of music and hip hop and rap in general, is that people have seen rap as a meal ticket and people have lost the care for the quality and creation and the love of the craft. Versus back in the day, yeah, there were those people that had their bad music that caught on a little bit too much, but that was a rarity, and they never really truly became legends, most of them. But for the most part, it was the quality of the music that lasted. It was having the heart and soul to do this stuff, and we're losing that, especially in music in general, but we're losing that especially in hip hop, and I think also in R&B. So I feel like maybe it's a sign hip hop needs to die out on the mainstream like other genres did, and find itself and go back to its roots, go back to being about lyricism, go back to being about consciousness, go back to having more balanced promotion, especially when it came to the women. Because the only mainstream female rappers that were of the past 90s and 2000, I can only count about 3 on my hand. But then the rest of the female rappers, Lauryn Hill wasn't rapping like Lil' Kim. Missy Elliott may have had her songs that talked about sexual subject matter, but she mixed it up. She's a very eclectic and eccentric artist, which is what makes her stand out. So, like I said, I think it's really time that hip hop gets revitalized. And I do think that some of the men's criticisms are definitely laced in a little bit of jealousy and hypocrisy. But tell me what you think down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next one.